Good evening. My name is Leroy Brown and welcome to Bridging the Gap. I will be your host tonight, and tonight it is the Community Resource Fair 2017. I have some Resource Fair individuals that are here tonight who will tell us exactly what the Community Resource Fair really is. And I will start asking them their name and exactly what role they play in this Resource Fair, and they'll give us a little information about that before we actually get into the questioning. I will start on my left, your right. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Kara. I'm the Vice President at Olimeni Counseling Services. We're a group practice for mental health services here in Bolingbrook. And this will be our second year participating in the community fair. We're really excited just to be a part of the community and help point families in the right direction.
Okay, Alan.
I'm Alan Bank. I am a school social worker for Plainfield High School Central Campus, and I am a co-chair with Mary on my left here, and we are proud to say that this is our 10th year doing this.
Mary.
Hi, my name is Mary Davis, and it's also my 10th year doing this fair with Alan, and we've co-facilitated this fair together, and I work for Valley View School District. I represent them, and we just hope that everyone will come out and see our fair again.
Okay.
Hi, my name is Elva Corona, and I'm Valley View's Assistant Director for Bilingual and ELL Education. We're very happy that this year we joined Mary and Alan to collaborate in the preparation for the fair.
My name is Amy Henderson, and I am a clinical supervisor at Edgewood Clinical Services. We have offices in Plainfield, Naperville, and North Naperville. We provide counseling services to anyone in the community.
Okay, Mary, would you start it off and tell us exactly what is Community Resource Fair?
The Community Resource Fair is an opportunity for various agencies, hospitals, libraries, special recreation facilities, just park districts to come together and to meet all in one place to give people services that they might need or benefit from or want to come and see and take advantage of, because we have so many supports in the community, but sometimes we're not always aware of what those supports are. And at the Community Resource Fair, all of those supports and more are under one roof.
Okay. Alan, now you've been involved in this Resource Fair for how many years now?
10 years together.
Actually, you're one of the founding members of the Resource Fair, is that correct?
Yeah, I guess you could look at it that way, yes.
Okay. Who should attend this fair? You know, a number of people may ask this question, can I come, why should I come, but who should attend?
Really, anybody who is interested to see what resources are at the fair itself, or I should say in the community itself. The wonderful thing about this is it's not so specific to, say, young children or even school-age children, which sometimes may be a little bit concerning since this is being given at a school. However, there's plenty of services for adults and even elderly there that they should take a look into. We try to make it as eclectic as possible so that people who, once again, want to see what resources are there can really check them out under one roof. And as Mary said, we have so many different ones available, it's hard to really know what's there until you go to an event like this.
Okay, now you might have someone that say, well, my children are grown. Is there anything in it for me?
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely. Well, first of all, there's free popcorn, and everybody likes free popcorn, and we try to be so welcoming when people come into the fair, and that smell of fresh popcorn and just the camaraderie of all of us. And yes, there's definitely services from anywhere from early childhood to elderly, infants, and all of that, childcare, things for the elderly. Last year I was going around table to table, and I spoke with someone from one of the local park districts, and they were featuring a trip for the elderly to go and see a musical. So I wanted to go, but I was at work at the time. So just things like that. It's a really great event. And this year we have, as in previous years, we have different providers coming, and even up to this moment, we still are adding more. So there's something for everyone.
And you know, you have people that would see this with all the advertisement, and they'd say, I'd love to come to the fair, I'd love to see the vendors, but I have small children. What kind of advice would you give me to come to the fair?
Well, you know what? Coming to the fair with small children is not a problem because there's a lot of open space, so they don't have to worry about them getting bumped into or anything like that. If they would like, there is free childcare there that is provided by the National Honor Society at Plainfield East High School, where the event is being hosted. And what happens is the children go to an open area, and there's some toys for them to play with, and they will also be playing some children's movies. So we try to make it not just as welcoming for the adults to go there, but we want them to feel safe and secure, so that knowing that their children are being taken care of, and they can take the time that they need to ask however many questions they want until they feel comfortable with whatever resource that they are speaking with, or multiple resources that they might be speaking with. In addition to that, I think one of the great things that we added this year is Family Fun Zone has offered us some family packs to go there. So we will be doing a raffle. So the children may be excited about that, or the parents that are attending may be excited to possibly win one of those free raffles in order to take their children there at a later time.
Now, you know, we kind of go off script in some way now. You know, people come in, is there food for them to eat? I mean, it's a long day, or it doesn't have to be a long day, but if someone decides that they want to stay all day and kind of visit all the vendors, what would they do if they needed food, if their children needed food and they didn't bring food? How would that work?
Well, I mean, right now at this point in our fair, there's the free popcorn, and we are hosting the fair, you know, in the morning time. So it's not a great, long, vast amount of time. So hopefully the parents can take their children or their family members, you know, to the places that they need, and then they would have to leave and go out to get something to eat after that. But I think it's so welcoming if families have children, or sometimes I love it when families come and they bring extended family members, aunts or uncles or grandparents that come through the fair, because each and every individual that comes into the fair will get a bag. And inside that bag is a provider resource guide. So inside that guide are the phone numbers of all of the providers that are there the day of the fair, as well as even other providers who possibly couldn't make it due to other commitments and so forth. So they get this guide so they could refer back to it, and with phone numbers, emails, and things like that. And then they can go through the fair, and almost every provider is passing out pens. You can share a little bit about what you pass out. Stress balls, candy, so the kids are, you know, entertained by that, and just finding the nice things that they can get that are promotional materials at each table.
Okay, now there are people, you know, that would come to a fair like this, would be somewhat reluctant to come, and they may need assistance. How would the fair provide individual assistance for them?
We have a number of people there that are going to be bilingual. So if the concern is as far as their ability to communicate with others, that we've done our best to take care of. And once again, so we will have Spanish-speaking people that will be able to translate. In addition to that, we will have a number of volunteers that are there to help them go to whatever possible tables that they may need, particular services. Once again, you don't have to go to every service that is offered there, but if there's ones very specifically, we can help point you in the right direction, because quite honestly, walking into a room where there's over 100 different resources can be overwhelming. And by having the assistance there, we can get them where they want until they feel comfortable to go about on their own, or we can stay with them the entire time.
Okay, also too, you know, you kind of alluded to some of the providers. What are some of the other providers that are at the fair, that would be at the fair?
There's Ager Behavioral Health Services that are going to be there. Amita Health, Alexian Brothers Hospital is going to be there. River Edge Counseling Center. There are a number of different agencies there, once again, varying. We are fortunate enough to have two of the agencies represented here in this committee, which I'm sure you'll be talking to shortly,
Yes, yeah.
And that it with Olameni as well as Edgewood. So, you know, there are just, there's too many for me to really name. But once again, it spans such a wide variety that anybody coming to the resource fair should be able to find something that they might be interested in. Even those with, say, children that may be about to finish high school or just beyond that, You know, they can find different services. Rasmussen College is going to be there. So if you're interested in furthering your education, and not just for the older children, but maybe some of the adults out there that don't have college degree or want to go back for a different degree. So there's so many different resources there. There should be something that they can find.
Elva, why is it important for the Latino families to be there? Why is that important?
Well, it's so important for our Latino families to be there, just like it is for many of the other families. But we really wanted to encourage them to come and have the availability of all these resources under one roof. We know that so many of our families are working families. Many of them have multiple jobs, and you know, coming home to find resources for the family, for their families and their needs is so difficult. So just being able to come and making them aware of even the things that are available to them, I think this will ultimately serve to empower them and help them, and not just themselves, but maybe even a neighbor, and be good citizens of the community as well.
Okay. Kara, why is it important for the average family to take time out for their busy day to come to this fair? Why is that important?
I think so many families in the community kind of get confused. You're looking for services, you don't know what direction to turn. You get different recommendations from family members, but you don't know really what's the right step for you. So being able to have everything in one area and to be able to have staff and assistants to kind of guide you kind of helps you get rid of all the middle ground and just go directly to what you're looking for.
Amy, what kind of services does Edgewood provide? I mean, is that an organization? What is that?
Edgewood is a counseling agency.
Okay.
It's located in Naperville and Plainfield, and we provide services for children up through aging adults. I think the youngest population we serve is about 2 years old. We have group, we have individual counseling, we have family and couple counseling. We do psychological testing. We test for autism, we test for academic struggles and mood disorders. And then we also have 2 psychiatrists on staff as well that can see any of our clients that are coming in for counseling services, or anyone outside in the community that doesn't even receive our counseling services. They can see them for any type of medication that they might need to be helpful.
Okay. You know, we've talked a lot about the fair. When is it and where is it going to be?
Well, it is going to be on Tuesday, November 8th, and it's going to be held at Plainfield East High School from 8:30 a.m. until noon.
Is there a hotline that they can go to in order to get more information on this?
Yes, if there's any questions, the hotline number is 815-886-2700, and it's extension 6800 for English and 6801 for Spanish. So we encourage any phone calls that family members or community members may have regarding the fair, the time, anything that you would like to know about the agencies that will be provided at the fair. We could provide that information for you, and we just hope everyone comes out.
Wow, you remember those numbers were really good. Now, there are going to be people there who's going to be very enthusiastic about going there, just visiting. Do they have to visit every provider while they're there?
Oh, no, absolutely not. I mean, if they have 10 minutes, I know that for Valley View School District, the day of the fair, well, it's election day, and I know that Plainfield East High School is a polling place, and I know that all different people come out and vote, all different ages, so definitely they can detour right into our fair. So that would kind of be, you know, doing 2 things in that day, 2 pretty monumental things in that day, and so they don't have to go to every single vendor. They can definitely just tell us when they come in, you know, I'm looking for this type of service. I might need some financial help, or my son or daughter is looking for a college, or that kind of thing. And like Alan said, we can guide them to that table, or they can just kind of wander around at their leisure and they'll see interesting things that will catch their eye.
And you have about how many providers will be at the fair? I know sometimes you may have 100, you may have, how many? About?
I think I counted over 100 as of yesterday, and they're still growing. So.
Wow. You're going to need a large place, no doubt.
Definitely.
Elva, what kind of support would the fair actually give non-speaking English families that would make them feel welcome, make them feel comfortable being there? What support would they give them?
Well, the language that we have that is most spoken by our community members would be Spanish. So like Alan addressed earlier, we're definitely going to take care of that. We have partnered up with Lewis University, and we're going to have some of their education students come, and they will be interpreting. Many of these people will be wearing a tag that says, Yo hablo español, or I speak Spanish, so that community members can feel comfortable and can come up to one of us and say, you know, can you help me out with interpreting?
Okay. Sure. Now, you know, sometimes people at fairs can be kind of pushy. Do you think you'd have that type of mentality there that would make people come and feel somewhat uncomfortable and uneasy?
I think that's a really good question, especially me being kind of a shy person myself. I always get nervous going into big organizations, rooms where lots of people. Last year was my first experience being at the fair as a vendor and being able to observe and just interact with people. Definitely not pushy. I thought it was really great how all the vendors are kind of sitting very welcoming, and if you're not wanting to talk to them and you keep moving, it's no big deal. But if you want to just come by and get a piece of candy, that's cool too.
Amy, what is the value of these services to children and adults? What is that value? What kind of value would they have? Would they get out of that?
Well, at coming to the fair, the value would be for them to connect to the various things that are available to them within the community. I think that Mary had said earlier that there's libraries and there's special recreation associations and there's, you know, things for older adults and younger children as well. So coming from the counseling aspect, I think it helps parents that are coming through the fair ask questions to the vendors, to the providers, that will help them understand a little bit more about how we can help better serve them and their family, and especially their student. So, and what I mean by that is oftentimes there is a stigma with mental health, and it's very important at Edgewood that we minimize that stigma and that we, you know, mainstream and streamline the services that mental health providers can offer.
Now, would people have to spend a set amount of time at the fair? I mean, can they just walk in and spend 25 minutes and walk out, or would they have to spend a lot of time to actually get the effect of what the fair offers?
Well, absolutely. I think that they could, you know, come in if they had 10 minutes to spare, or if they were voting and they just wanted to pop into the fair and see what kinds of services were there to offer, and then just kind of, you know, go to various booths and then be on their way. Or I saw a lady last year who came into the fair right kind of when we started, and when we were wrapping things up, the lady was still there, and she went to each and every booth and talked to, you know, each representative, just interested in the services in the community. So it's totally on the individual and what they prefer and what they want and what kind of time they have.
Now, if I attended the fair last year, why would I go back again this year? What would be so different that would want me to go back this year?
There's so many different resources this year. We have easily over 10 new resources this year, and as Mary had said earlier, we are still getting phone calls from different providers that would like to be part of the resource fair. Agencies change, so that's going to be different. For individuals that are attending, it might be some of the same vendors, but it might feel different because their needs may have changed. So that's going to be important for them, because the vendors who they saw last year, they may not have that same need this year. So then they're checking out different vendors. In addition to that, because maybe their needs were so specific last year, maybe they're coming in with a little bit different mentality. They may see new vendors. They may see some of the libraries and what they do. They might see some of the recreation facilities that are attending there. They could see so many different things with over 100 different providers.
Right, and I noticed this year also that more medical, medical facilities have been reaching out to us. So, like VMA is new in the area, and they're getting their name out, and they want to come, along with Meridian Health is joining us this year. So I think that's another facet. You know, children need immunizations. You know, elderly need care. You know, medical care. So they're there. We're having a pain management group coming out and nutrition. So all these different things, supplemental, taking supplements and things like that for nutrition. All these different agencies, it's like opening all these different doors every year, and it's exciting. And Family Fun Zone, I believe, reached out to us, which, I think that's a great thing, because at Family Fun Zone, there's always something for everybody, parties, family parties, birthday parties, things like that.
Okay, someone might be watching, will be watching this, I'm sure, because we get a number of feedbacks on the show. VMA, who is VMA?
VMA Health is, it's located in Romeoville, and it's a new medical facility, and they provide just medical care. And I believe that they are really reaching out to families and low-income families and people with a medical card and things like that, so that they could get their medical needs taken care of.
Now, I know you've mentioned it before, but someone may not walked away from the TV set and says, I think I heard this, but could you give me more information as to where I can get more information for this? And how is this going to be beneficial to that person? Is there an age limit? If someone decides at 16 years old, I heard of a fair, I think I'm going to go to it. Are they welcome?
Yes, they're welcome. I wish that our school districts would give extra credit to the students that came to the fair and brought their parents with them, because sometimes I feel that you might look at a sign, or you might see this TV show and think, wow, we really ought to do that. And then the day comes and it just gets pushed by the wayside. The students at both schools are off school that day. So we would love to see as many of our students as we can, and their family members as well. And yes, the kids love this fair. So like Alan said, there's free childcare available, which is a great thing to take advantage of, especially if you want to speak with one of the counselors or clinicians and have something, kind of maybe private that you want to talk about. But if you want to bring your children to this fair, it's the most welcoming place you can be, because we all love kids there, and there's always toys, candy, stress balls, things like that the kids just absolutely love.
Also, information will be provided as well. If you just go to the school district websites, for Plainfield, it would be psd202.org. For Valley View, it would be vvsd.org. So really, if by chance you catch just even a little bit of this and you find yourself interested, go to either website and you will get really as much information as you want, including the possibility of watching this entire show. So we try to stream it on there after the taping.
Okay. Elva, how are you getting this information out to the Latino community? What kind of promotions are you doing to get this information out?
Okay. So we have sent a parent link out, and it went out in English and then in Spanish as well. And then the flyers will go home with all the elementary school children in both languages as well. But one of the things that we're really excited about the Community Resource Fair this year is that one of the providers that has been supporting the fair for many years is the Southwest Suburban Immigrant Project. And among the many resources and programs that they have a youth program where they teach music to students from our local area. And they teach mariachi music. So we're actually going to have a live performance from Mariachi Matters, which is students from our school district. And this performance is going to be during the fair, so we're really excited. And I know I met with a group of parents this past week, and the moms are just so excited about their children being able to perform at the fair. And they themselves have not been to the fair, and it's a reason for them to go. So I'm excited about the resources and opportunities that they're going to get while they're there as well. So.
And the question is fair, I'm sure, isn't something that is inexpensive. How is that? How do you raise money for this? How is it paid for? Who pays for it?
We have a variety and very giving sponsors, including the two ladies who are sitting with us here today. And they sponsor the fair, and they get a prime table. And when you get a resource guide, their names will be on the cover of the guide. And they promote this so that we can fund this year after year.
Okay. Kara, now what kind of services, in the services that your company provides for, who pays for that? And what kind of insurance do they take, or do they take insurance or accept insurance?
Oh, sure. At Ole Miami Counseling Services, we're on network with most major medical insurances, anywhere from Blue Cross Blue Shield all the way to United Healthcare and Multiplan. We are not in network with public aid. However, we do accept patients on a sliding scale fee. And we also have an intern who currently works with us, and she sees patients who are underfunded, and she sees patients who maybe charge about $5 a session. So it's great that we can treat various different people in the community regardless of funding sources.
Okay. Now, you may have a senior citizen like myself that attends this fair. What kind of services would you provide for seniors that would attend the fair? Either one of you can answer that.
Well, I do like the recreational things, because I think seniors really like to get out into the community and do activities. And if they don't feel comfortable driving to the city, there might be buses through the Park District that will go to the city and take them on things around the holidays to, see the lights and things like that. So that's one of the services. There's also the Joliet Community Hospice, for people who are suffering loss or who are going through struggles themselves, medically and with medical necessities. And the medical care that's provided is always good. And libraries are there, so they can go to the police department. Will County Mental Health has a wide array of different services, including emergency preparedness. So that people will be ready for crisis situations or emergencies in their homes.
Okay, is it special need accessible?
Oh, of course, yes.
Okay.
It's all the doors and entryway. There's no stairs or anything like that they need to worry about. This year we're having very nice signs so that they'll know exactly where to park and what door to come in at. And Larry Randa, who has worked so diligently on this fair with us for the past 10 plus years. And I mean, I've heard he's retiring this year, but I keep hoping he'll change his mind. He's got signs such as the one that's here at our feet. And so there'll be signs around guiding the people, and there'll be signs in the community too, so that if someone did step away from their television, they'll be able to see signs in the community telling the date. That's Tuesday, November 8th, and the time is 8:30 to noon.
Okay. Now, there may be some elderly people that are somewhat incapacitated to a degree. What kind of services would you have for them? Someone say, I want to bring my mother, but she's kind of, in a condition that she can't get around as well. What kind of services would you provide for her? Would there be medical services there in case something does happen?
There will be medical services there, and being at a school too, even though the day is off, many times the trainers are there, so if any type of emergency were to occur, there certainly would be staff there that could help. In addition to that, once again, because it is a voting day and we're going to be having a number of people coming through, they always make sure that medical necessities can be taken care of just in case anything does happen.
Okay. Amy, why would Edgewood even participate in a community fair such as this?
Well, I'll be a little generic and steal the title of the show.
Okay.
It's bridging the gap with the schools and the community and resources that can be provided to them. We participate in this particular fair because it is such a big one, and there are so many different people that come in that we are able to network and communicate and find out what other services we can provide for our own clients that are current. We also can meet new incoming people who might have questions about what services we provide. And then we find different referral resources, such as other counseling agencies if we're not able to provide services for those individuals.
Okay. And I've noticed you've talked about a number of people that would attend this fair, but you might, and it actually gives a service that someone may have a need for. What happens if a person is well off to do? I mean, they're doing well. They're not hurting for any kind of resources as far as finances. Why would they attend this fair? What's the benefit?
Well, the benefit for them is knowing what resources are there, possibly for their parents, possibly for their children. It's not just a matter of their income, it's a matter of potential need. And as we had mentioned before, you have different places like the public libraries that will be in attendance there. We mentioned Family Fun Zone, Rasmussen College. So there's a lot of varying agencies as well as other resources that aren't necessarily along the lines of mental health that people would be interested in. And it is so hard to know every single resource in the community because once again, there's going to be over 100 different resources there, but they also change. Many times new resources come about and we're finding them out too, once again, because we're getting phone calls from different agencies that we had no clue were even in the area. So it's great for that to happen, so then that way we can share them with the community.
Okay. Karen, now someone would need services. How would they go about it? I know you kind of alluded to it to some degree. How would they go about getting your services, and what would they do? Who can they contact? Is there a telephone number, an email address? How could they go about getting your services?
Sure. Again, Ole Miami Counseling is located right here in Bolingbrook, so we're very involved in the community. Most of our teenagers and kids that we see go to District 365 and Plainfield School District. We have a intake worker who fields our new patient phone calls and provides information to the community just if people are looking to get information. Our phone number for our practice is 331-318-8181. Our intake manager, her name is Laura. She has all the information available to help you point you in the right direction with us, or if you need some help anywhere else in the community as well.
Okay, a lot of information out there. Amy, if someone stopped at the table, what kind of questions could you answer for them? You know, people have 1,000 questions. How could you accommodate them on that?
They do have a lot of questions, and one of the things that we could provide is answers to those, such as what services we provide, how would they get involved in our agency, who they would be able to contact, cost of services, what kind of insurance we take. And we would, and I think with most of the providers that will be at this fair, they will, we have our brochures with names, dates, locations, website, those sorts of things. And it has all of our services listed in there: psychiatry, psychology, testing, groups, and individual counseling.
Okay, now you've been doing this, Mary and Alan, you've been doing this for about 10 years plus. What's new this year that would really make someone want to come? How could you advertise that, or are you advertising it, that we've got this new resource this year that, yes, you need to come out and see what it's all about?
Mm-hmm. Well, I was just really, you could speak to this too, I was just really excited about Family Fun Zone because it's a game place and they skate, right? Also, so music, skating, games, and all of that type of thing, and they are donating various packages to us. So we decided this year we're going to have a raffle, which we haven't done a raffle in the past, and I don't know, if I was a community member, I'd want to come and take advantage of the raffle. So that's one thing that I'm really excited about this year.
Right. And I think we might be making an assumption here, but let me be clear. It's a free raffle. Mm-hmm. So you show up, you get a ticket, and you may win. Somebody there is going to win. And it's not just one prize. Mm-hmm. There's going to be about 5 to 10 different giveaways. So there's a good chance that you could win just by showing up. And as we talked about earlier too, you know what? You may be there for 10, 15 minutes. You might be there the entire time. You don't have to be there the entire time to win the prize. We want you to come there. We want you to feel welcome, to stay as long as you want, get the information that you'd like, and then go on. The raffle ticket, we will take the part that has your name and number on it to make sure that if you win, you get your prize.
Now this fair, because it seems like, and I've been to it a few times, seems like a very big hit. It seems like a lot of information, people can really benefit from this. Why is it only held once a year? Why don't you hold it more than once a year?
Well, that's a good question, and it would be really nice to hold it a couple times a year. But we know that these agencies and these wonderful people are basically, devoting their time to us for the day. So that's one of the reasons, is because of all the providers who take time away from their day at their place of employment to come to the fair and give to the community. And the other reason is probably just so that, things stay fresh. And it's something to look forward to each year. In the past, we've always held it in February, And this is the first year we're holding it in November. So there won't be a fair in February this year because we're holding it now in November, and we're kind of trying to change it a little bit. And the reason that we did that was because we felt that if we had it closer to the beginning of the school year, families and community members could use these resources right away, like kind of at the beginning of the school year, rather than the latter part of the school year when they might not be in need of some of the services. So we wanted to expand that, and that's why we only have it once a year, just so it stays fresh, and we don't feel that we're taking advantage of our providers and their time, their precious time.
And you kind of alluded to this, and I think Alan had mentioned this. This is free. The service that you provide for anyone coming to the fair is free?
Yes, absolutely free.
At what point doing this would people have to start paying for whatever services? If it becomes individual, if they walk to Edgewood and say, well, I need your services, you would get them to your office. At what point does it become payable?
At what point does it come a cost to them?
Yes.
Once they come into the agency and start participating in the services.
Okay.
Yeah. So what they would do is, as with most of the agencies that are there, they would call in, and we run their benefits, we verify their benefits. They come in, and we provide the services for them. And usually it goes through insurance, so it's typically of low cost to individuals.
Okay. Carmen, walk me through the steps. I want to come to your service. I see you have something that I could really use. Walk me through the steps of getting your services, and what would that provide?
Sure, no problem. At our practice, your first step would be to call our phone number or go online to our website, which is olimenecounseling.com, OLIMENE, counseling.com. And at that point, you would get redirected to Laura. Laura does a phone intake screening with you to determine what needs you have. She helps you link you up to the appropriate provider in our practice. And then she talks to you about funding sources, your ability to pay, make sure you have all your information you need about that. And then she sets you up with the identified clinician and gets you your first appointment. Typically, we're able to see new patients within 5 days of their phone call.
Okay. That would be very beneficial because people like to know how could they get that service and what the steps. Now, Elva, your services, you may have a number of people there that would visit your service that are non-English speaking. How many people would you have there to accommodate them? Because it could be overwhelming, and sometimes people get in line, they get, somewhat, I don't want to be here, it's taking too long. Can you accommodate that?
Well, we're hoping, we're really reaching out to the bilingual community, to the Latino community to come out to the fair. So it's the first year that we've partnered up with them, and we're really hoping to get a good turnout. But by partnering also with Lewis University, we're hoping that we'll get enough interpreters there so that everybody can be tended to, for sure.
And Mary, I thank you. Most likely, I'm sure Mr. Randa has provided this to all of the educational systems that's out there, that you could get a flux of educational people that's coming because it's a non-school day.
Right. In Valley View School District, it is parent-teacher conferences in the morning too. So we're hoping that there's that lapse of time, like from 10 until noon, that staff members will be able to come and see the fair. There is definitely going to be clinicians from the school districts that will be coming to the fair during the day that will get release time to come to the fair. And then at your school, everybody, all the support staff can come, correct?
Correct. The social workers that are at Plainfield, Plainfield School District will be actually at Plainfield East High School anyway, where the fair is going to be taking place. So there will be certain time in between their conferences that they will be able to go. And it's important for them as well, just because they like meeting up with the providers and making sure that they know what new services are out there, and sometimes even linking up with some of the clinicians that will be behind the tables to talk to people. Being large school districts that we are, we cover early childhood through high school, and some of the services out there provide very specific needs, sometimes only for elementary, sometimes middle or high school. So as a result, we will have specific social workers go only to those particular agencies. And it works out well because then you can really find out what's there.
Okay, someone's visiting the fair. I'm from out of town, and I walked in your fair and I see this is wow. This is really something nice I'd like to be involved in. Are your services only here in this area, or are they out of state as well? I'll go.
For Edgewood, we are only located in Illinois, and we have a Plainfield office and we have 2 Naperville offices.
Okay, Karen.
And we're just in Bolingbrook right now.
Okay, and your services is providing support for people that are non-English speaking, but even in that case, could they go somewhere else and get the same services?
I would say yes, but right now our focus is really to support those in our community to get those resources that they need at the fair. And for them, we do have a lot of specific people that will be at the fair, ranging from child care to immigration and citizenship, as well as getting their students ready for college and much more.
Okay. Alan, explain exactly what do you guys do for the school districts as social workers? What does that look like to someone that's coming in and say, you were the school district social worker? What do you really do?
Well, what we do is we provide, in a very general sort of way, coping skills for the different students. Many times the students are handling different anxieties. There's a lot of different stress that they come about and different challenges, maybe either in the home or in the school itself. And so what we do is we help the students learn to adapt and handle those stressors so that they can go about their school day and once again meet those particular academic needs. Many times schools, understandably so, are very focused on academics. The parents are focused on academics. Colleges are focused on academics. Once again, it's a learning environment, but what we want to do is make sure that the student is able to learn at their optimal level. And so what we do is we try to help them be able to handle the stresses of becoming older, learning how to handle these things so that they can actually learn at their optimal level.
Okay, I know this time is running down, and that's good because I know, when we get into conversations like this, Mary, now you've been involved in this community fair for quite a number of years. What kind of changes have you seen in the students at the schools because of the fair, or even because of their parents going and actually came back and talked about it? Have you seen any changes in?
Yes, I definitely have. In the resources that are provided at the fair, whether or not it's the parent themselves that take advantage of making a phone call, or it's us in our office that talks to a parent and says, have you thought about this, calling this agency or reaching out to this individual? And then the student gets the help that they need, or the student gets involved in the park district, the park district activities where they didn't have any other activities, prior to that. So I think that I've seen it in both forms. I know that one year a gentleman came and he needed some type of financial assistance, so we guided him to that table, but at the same time he had stated that he wanted his daughter to be in driver's ed, but they didn't have the funds to pay for driver's ed. So there was a Valley View employee there at that time that was overhearing the conversation that took him aside and got that together so that they could help him pay for his daughter to get her driver's education. So I think over the years it's evolved so much, like, with Elva coming in and with, reaching out to bilingual families. Before, we used to have to maybe rely on one person from the district who might be able to come to the fair for a while to translate for us, to like various providers who would help with translation services. So this is just wonderful. Like, you being there just opens up a whole new set of doors, and just, the prospect of fairs going forward in the future, and how wonderful that's going to be, and how many families we're going to reach, because this is all about reaching the families and the community, and it's all about us pulling together ourselves to make that happen.
I can tell you and Mr. Rander and Al, you guys work pretty close together because that was one of his questions, talk about the bilingual program in VVSD. And you just kind of alluded to that. Give us a, yes.
Well, we have a very diverse population here at Valley View where we serve students from that speak various different languages, but definitely our Spanish-speaking population is one of the largest, and we have really tried expanding and reaching out to our community and getting the resources that our community members need as well. And that's why we were so excited when the opportunity came to join Mary and Alan, just because of the numerous vendors and providers that they have at their fair. We had to definitely join their team for that.
About how many bilingual students would you say is in VVSD school system?
We have about, that are part of our program, we have about 2,000 students.
That's a large population.
Yes, that speak other languages, the number is much higher.
Oh, wow. Okay, as I told you, this time was going to go by pretty fast. Amy, I'm going to start with you. Take about a minute or so, what message would you like to leave the viewing audience with?
Well, I would like to welcome anyone to come out to the provider fair, ask questions, don't be shy. If you are a little shy, like you had mentioned earlier, all the providers have brochures, pamphlets, stress balls, candy, pens that have all of our information on it. So even if at that time you don't feel comfortable asking questions, you can always take our information, look it over at home, and give us a call, and we can answer your questions that way as well.
Okay, if I'm going to call you, could you give me a number?
It is 630-428-7890. And our website is edgewoodclinicalservices.com.
Good. Okay. Elva?
So I would just like to encourage everybody, especially the Latino families, to come out to the resource fair, whether it's for yourself or for somebody else, for a neighbor, for a friend. Come out and just be informed of the services that are out there to support you and your family.
Carol, let's talk about your services now.
Sure. Well, of course, me being a social worker, my biggest strong suit is making an impact in the community, making a difference for the people who are around Bolingbrook and Romeoville. So I'm super excited about the fair because I really believe strongly in helping point families in the right direction. I think things just get really overwhelming, especially around this time of the year too, with the holidays and the change of season. People just need kind of like that push to get things started with whatever they're looking for. Speaking also of making an impact in the community, at my counseling practice, we also offer 2 free support groups for the community, which is a really great opportunity to service people who are underfunded, don't have any health insurance. We have a self-esteem group for girls who are ages 13 to 17 here at our practice, and that's on Monday afternoons. And we also have a support group for older adult women. We were talking about older adult services before. We have a support group for women who are 60 and older in the Bolingbrook and Romeoville community, which is also free of charge. So I think just my big passion for helping the community and being a part of the community resource fair, I'm just super excited about it.
Wow. See, you are.
Thank you.
All right. Mary and Alan, okay, what message would you like to leave the viewing audience when, since you guys are the guru of this community resource fair? Mary?
I would just say, I would really strongly encourage people to come out to the fair, see what we have. If you've been there before, come out again because there's new things and you'll get a new goodie bag with new stress balls and pens if you like pens. And that's another thing, a lot of agencies pass out pens, and then that way you have the name of that agency right at your fingertips basically. And I just feel like this is not only something that is going to help people with their issues in life and what they're going through in life. It's also a party, it's a celebration because we have all these agencies and all these facilities under one roof. So it's going to take that whole big level of stress completely off of them because we're there, we'll be at the door, we'll be there to greet you, we'll be there to guide you to what you need. And so I feel that that's just a stress relief in itself for people, knowing that this is in this facility at Plainfield East High School.
Okay, and again, you said when will it be?
Tuesday, November 8th.
Okay, And
from
it is at?
8:30 until noon.
Okay. And the hotline service that they can call into?
Yes, absolutely. It's 815-886-2700, and it's extension 6800 for English and 6801 for Spanish.
I just wanted to see if you remember it again.
I know.
Alan, what would you like to leave the viewing audience with?
You know, once again, it is really a wonderful opportunity for people to come and check out the various agencies and resources in the community. One of the best things that I don't think we can stress enough is that there are so many under this one location that if there is a service that you're thinking about, it's a great opportunity to go to the different tables and get an idea of which one you may actually like to go to. It's much easier doing that than having to call each one individually. So you have a great opportunity there. In addition, as we've mentioned, November 8th, that is election day as well. So many times people will have a little bit of time where they may run out during their lunch, or they will be trying to go there before work. While not everybody's polling place obviously is Plainfield East High School, if you could take a little extra time to stop by there, it gives you a wonderful opportunity. Once again, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. If you've got an hour, great, to check out what it's about and just the different resources that are in the area. For those that aren't familiar with Plainfield East High School, it's located at 12001 South Naperville Road. And once again, that's in Plainfield. One of the best landmarks with regards to that is actually the Bolingbrook Country Club. And the Bolingbrook Country Club is actually a mile east of the high school. So if you're in the Bolingbrook area, if you go up, take Weber and you go to Rodeo Drive and you start heading west, it'll be about a mile past the Bolingbrook Country Club. For those that live in the Plainfield area, it's actually a little bit over a mile east of Route 59 on 119th Street. So we hope to see you out there.
Wow, that's some good information. I mean, you can't get lost getting there, you know, the information you've given. And I know we thanked a lot of people here, there's no doubt about it, but I know you guys would have, Mary and Alan, and the rest of you too, like to thank Mr. Larry Randa for all the communication and publicity that, I know he doesn't like that, you know, the publicity that's gotten out there with the poster that's here. He made sure that I'd get it here tonight so people will have a visual exactly what it is, but we really didn't need it because you guys were visuals yourselves and all the information that you've given. Mary, I'll ask you one question. We got about 2 minutes on that. What made you get involved in the Community Resource Fair? Why?
I was asked by the administrator at Valley View School District, I believe in 2007. That might have been before we joined with Plainfield. And I thought, wow, what a great opportunity. And at that time, there was a fair the year prior, and I was involved in the committee but not chairing it. And the year prior, we had a booklet, a resource guide, and there were about 50, maybe 25, 50 providers. Very small, very low key. You could walk through that fair in 5 minutes. Didn't have free popcorn, just you know, the basics. And some of those providers are still coming today, which is amazing that they're still coming, but it's just grown and evolved so much. And I think the most fascinating thing about it is all the different avenues it's taken, because at first it was just solely mental health. And now it's expanded from mental health to like emergency preparedness, to medical, to pain, to support groups for parents of teens that are going through things, and just the family fun zone, and just all these amazing activities and amazing agencies that have come out to participate now.
I think people have a hard time believing that you're very enthusiastic about this fair and your involvement in it, you know?
I think the only sad part about this fair is Mr. Larry Randa retiring this year, because he has really driven the fair and helped us stay motivated sometimes when we might be catching a roadblock or something with a new great idea of advertising and marketing to get the word out to our families and our community.
Yeah, that's the kind of person he is, believe me. Well, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight. You've given a lot of information for someone to want to go out and be at this fair. I mean, even going there, just knowing that the providers that you would have to actually help people that need different services, those services are crucial for people not knowing where to go and where to get the services that you've given tonight. So I know people going there, they're going to enjoy themselves, and I'm sure they definitely want to return back. I know this isn't a resource fair here, but it's a lot of information, but I want to thank our Bolingbrook Community Television crew for being here. Those people work very hard to make sure these shows are shown. I mean, you got the singers in the back on control, you got the people on the camera, and it's a lot of hard work, and they volunteer their time to come here and do this. They don't get paid for this. This is volunteer time. So I want to thank all of them for being here tonight. Thank you for your services, for always. I've been doing this 18 years, and you guys have been great. This is Bridging the Gap. My name is Leroy Brown. Thank you.